Hi there, this is Nick Howard and you're listening to Backbeat, the rock source with AndreGraziadei. Thank you very much.
All music is the same. It's just a new set of lyrics and a new backbeat.
Okay, AndreGraziadei here for the Backbeat experience in a chat with Nick Howard.
Hello.
How you doing?
Doing very well, thank you very much. Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks a lot for taking time out to have a chat today.
Of course, absolutely.
All right, you started off at the age 7 as a musician.
Yeah.
And you wrote your first song at 14.
I like that you've read my bio.
All right.
Yeah.
So now if I think about it, you're now 28 with some success,
Yeah.
I would think. Now if 7, 14, 28, so everything is a 7-year span.
Exactly, yeah.
So what are you going to do at 35? And what do you think you're going to be at 35?
Probably in an arena, I would think. Just, you know, like a sold-out arena.
Why not?
Why not, exactly. I played a couple last year, but it wasn't really my show. So hopefully next year I can have an arena show. It's my own show.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or at 35.
The Beatles were a big influence for you.
Absolutely.
Was that stemming from your parents? How did that come about?
Yeah, I think so. Like there was always, you know, music from that generation, from that era around me growing up. Very influenced. All my parents, aunts and uncles, everybody was big music fans, and those just happened to be the records we had around the house. And so I heard all music from the 60s, 70s and 80s, you know, growing up, and I think it's great, you know, and so yeah, that's how that came about.
So what's your favorite Beatles track?
Day in the Life would be my favorite Beatles track. Just because I think it's sort of like it sort of epitomizes their experimentation and how, you know, forward-thinking they were, and how different for the time doing something like that would be, you know, taking two completely different songs and mashing them up. You know, people do that now, but they did it, you know, 40 years ahead of, 50 years ahead of everybody else. That's pretty cool.
True.
Yeah.
There seems to be a host of talented artists that come out of Brighton. Is it in the water? What is it?
Yeah.
How could you explain it?
I wouldn't know because the seawater is too cold to it. But it's just it's a town that is full of culture and art, and so that could be one of the reasons.
Is that kind of like the Malibu or the Venice Beach of England?
Yeah, it probably is actually. Yeah, it's like the Venice Beach. Yeah, it's a lot of wacky people, and that you always need a few wacky people around to make some good music. No, it's just cool. I think everybody feels like it's one of the few places in England where I really feel like you can express yourself and not worry about what other people are going to say or think. And it's a very unique town in that regard. And it's less chaotic than London, and there's a lot less, you know, just there's a lot less noise. You know, so you can really sort of hone in and find your own little niche and just
be yourself.
To be yourself, yeah, it's really nice. But I left.
Yeah.
Having said all that, I went to New
York.
So
you went to the States. You spent you worked there, and I mean it's a huge market to try to get a foothold in.
Yeah.
So where exactly did you get your break in the U.S.?
Well, it's actually less so like the New York was my break, but I think what New York gives you is a sort of boot camp of life and also musicianship and playing. I played hundreds of shows to 5 annoyed drunk people, you know, and if you can kind of pull that off, then when you come and play in front of 500 people, it's like easy because they actually want to hear you play music, you know. So New York was like my boot camp, so that when I was then able to go on tour a few years later, I was kind of ready for it. That's how I described that whole experience, and New York kind of cut my chops, as it were.
But you got your music to be played on TV and commercials and so on. I mean, that alone is a break in itself. Yeah, that was a big break for me. You know, it allowed me to, obviously there's two ways. It allows you to pay a few bills, but mostly it's for exposure purposes. And music was used in shows that were really, you know, great target demographic for me. So that was kind of, little by little I got various things that kind of all started happening, and then I was able in 2010 to quit all my little jobs I had going on and focus on music full time. Great. So then you left there, and then you came back, and you decided to go, all right, we'll try this thing in Germany.
Yeah.
With this, was it Voice of Germany?
Yeah.
So what would you recommend somebody that wanted to get into one of these casting shows today? Haven't you've been, gone through the whole process?
Well, it's funny because it was really an accident. You know, I actually started touring back in Europe in 2010 and just toured a lot in Germany by chance, opening for other bands, and I found that I was building a nice fan base here, and I came back a few times with my own tours, and we were, you know, having a lot of people turn up, and then I kind of hit a plateau where I needed some kind of extra boost to make whatever the next stage is. And The Voice I had a few friends that had done it in the US, and you know, they hadn't even made it past a few of the shows, but all of a sudden 100 or 200 more people were turning up to their gigs, and I thought, well, that sounds like a good plan, because the biggest battle in music is always playing in front of people, getting people to hear your stuff.
If nobody knows you're there,
you could be the best. You could be Paul McCartney, but if you hadn't had any radio play, you know, no one would know. You know, or whatever they did. They did a lot of touring obviously as well, but maybe not the best example. But nowadays, you know, it's just all about having people hear you. Otherwise, they won't know you exist, as you said. So that was really what it was for me. I was thinking, oh, well, maybe I can get on the blind audition or something like that. And I just thought it would make more sense to do it in Germany because I already had something going on here. Right. And so I learnt German as quick as I could, badly. And as I said, I never planned to sort of like win the show, and that's probably why I did win it, because I think people could see that I wasn't there to compete with anyone. That's never been a goal of mine in music. I was there to show, this is what I do, these are my songs, you know, come and see us at the show.
So I guess that's your recommendation to whoever wants to get involved in that.
Yeah, it's really, you use the show as a marketing tool, and they'll use you as a marketing tool.
Absolutely.
So you can't think of it as this like magic pill that's going to make you Michael Jackson overnight, you know. It's just another step, another link in the chain of a billion other things you have to do as a musician too. And after the show, I think a mistake that a lot of people make is after a show like that, no one's going to help you, no one's going to book you a gig, no one's going to put you on the radio. It's all about how much you hustle and you drive, and that's what I think a mistake a lot of people make. So we've just tried since then to tour as much as possible, to not go away, to keep knocking on people's doors, and therefore I think we're, you know, this tour for instance, we're able to keep touring and sell out shows and have lots of people come because we've just worked our asses off really since it. You know.
So you wrote this latest album. You wrote most of it in the States, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So how did that influence the writing of the songs?
Quite heavily, really. I think I tried for the first time to co-write with people, which I hadn't done before, and I just wanted to do that because I was quite honestly a little bit bored of just my own writing style. Right. So co-writing makes you think slightly differently about how you might approach a song, and I did it a lot of it in LA, and it was just really cool to write with other people, and yeah, it just makes you think outside the box a little bit, and then when you do write alone in the future, you tend to think about it slightly differently. So it's definitely a different sound on the record, but that's exactly what I wanted to happen.
So how would you say your songwriting has evolved in the last 10 years?
It's got worse. No, it's just, I think it's just grown up. I think when you start writing songs, you're just trying to piece anything together that sounds like a song. Right. It doesn't make any sense. Lyrics don't really make any sense. You know, it's probably a girl in there somewhere, and you probably fall in love with her, and blah blah blah. I think now I just write as about my experiences as an adult and growing, you know, and as I see things, as I continue on this journey and meet people and see different things in different places in the world. You know, songwriting is just a reflection, really. It's like a diary. So when you write songs, you're often writing about just your life, and so I think that has just followed, you know, my life as I got older.
So how would you explain? How could you explain the popularity of the singer-songwriters these days as opposed to like bands?
Well, I think there's some bands that are super successful. I think people really like singer-songwriters because it's, you really sing from, you know, your heart and your gut when you're a singer-songwriter. It's like you're literally reading pages of your diary. And I think perhaps people really like that because if you're singing about something they can relate to, it might be slightly more easy for them to have a connection than if they're watching a band. Sometimes in a band you might be hidden behind the facade or the name of your band. But a singer-songwriter, our support act tonight, Tyrone, his opening solo, I guarantee his songs are about his own experiences, and he's laying that bare for everyone to hear. I opened for him in the US, did exactly the same thing, and I think people really empathise with that, and it gives people the ability to have a connection with you that might, you know, tweak something in their own life, and that's probably why, one of the reasons. I'm just awesome.
You mentioned in one of the interviews that I saw that you said you had a surprise on the album track about drinking.
Oh yeah, right.
Life is great. Was that inspired by the Hangover movies?
It was from my own hangovers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I just really tried to like have a lot of fun with this album and show people a different side of me that they probably don't know. So the drunk side in that particular instance. Yeah, no, just fun. I was just like, you know, tried to write about experiences that I'd had with friends or family or whatever, and it came out like in about 2 minutes, so it was very easy to write. We're playing that tonight, so hopefully people seem to like it.
So the track $1 Million, what's a success? What would then success mean to you?
Well, that's the thing about that song. It's about saying, you know, whatever I do wouldn't be good enough for that particular person, and so you can try all you want, but that person would never be happy, so you should probably be better finding someone else. Success for me is doing exactly what we're doing tonight, and that's playing live music to people that have bought tickets to come and see us play. It's just, for me, the biggest compliment, and I just want to keep doing it, and I consider that success. Yeah.
as long as the people are there to hear you.
Absolutely.
If I remember now, you play what? Guitar, you play bass, piano, drums?
Don't play any drums. I was getting a little lesson from our drummer earlier. I played a little ukulele, I played some piano.
Any further instruments that you'd like to incorporate?
No, I just want to get better at dancing.
Oh, you got 2 left feet?
Yeah, no, I just always revert to Michael Jackson moves. I think we'll get a bit bored of that.
All right.
I think we have to,
Okay. One last question.
Yeah.
You got, like, if say in Can't Be Friends, you got clarinet and you got horns and beautiful.
Yeah.
So that gives like another touch to it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just another dynamic sonically for people to listen to. And as I said, we were just trying to have fun, so we just tried all sorts of different things in the studio, and it worked.
Great. All right. Well, I'll cut it short.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Nick.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime.
All right.
It was a lot of fun. Are you guys sticking around for the show?